Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Kelvin here, and in this video I will be talking about the improvements that I saw with SEO once I moved my website from Vue to Nuxt. I started this project called startupgraveyard.africa. It's a website that documents failed startups in Africa, analyzing why they failed and learning from their experiences. When I worked on the original idea, I thought it would be a simple list of these startups, some of what they did, and then link to the articles that talk about the shutdown. For a while, it was just this list of startups. This is the archived version. If you scroll down, it's basically just a list. You can go to the next page. But yeah, it was just mainly a list. And I was going to leave it at that. However, once I put it out on Twitter, I started getting comments, and it seemed like something that other people were interested in. Because I wasn't expecting the site to get much traction, I built the website with Vue. But now that people were beginning to suggest ideas and it seemed that there was some interest in it, I knew I needed to expand it for more. A couple of reasons. First one was SEO. If you're going to add more to the website, then you need to think about how to optimize that for search engines. The second thing is what you would build it with once you're expanding the site. So for the first part, I thought about adding a blog. So the blog will cover analysis about why the startup failed, and we can link that to the startups from the homepage. Once I thought about the blog, I now needed to think about the tool I would use. The original version was already built in Vue, and the closest thing to Vue was Nuxt. So I chose Nuxt for a couple of reasons. First of all, the reason why our SEO wasn't great with Vue is because of the way single page application frameworks work. What that means is when a request is sent to the server returns minimal HTML and then a JavaScript payload. This payload is executed by the browser and then makes additional requests to fetch the content of the page. The thing with search engines is that they are not really great with executing JavaScript. So basically, once the search engine comes to your site, it gets nada, except that initial tiny HTML which doesn't really tell anything about your page. With Nuxt, you can server render your page, meaning your blog post can be fetched on the server and then wrapped up into a page, and then HTML payload is sent back to the client, or in the case of a search engine, it's sent back to the search engine, and HTML the search engine can handle. And then once you have server rendering sorted, then you can optimize your site for the search engine. So in terms of the actual migration, it wasn't too complicated because Nuxt is still a Vue framework. Most of it was just initializing a Nuxt project and moving the components, the assets, the models, and views into pages for Nuxt and every other thing that was needed. Once that was done, I could now start taking advantage of some of the key features that I'd learned in the digital marketing course. One of the things I did early on was to pre-render static routes. You can do that with route rules. So here you just add the routes that are static. For example, I can add another one here and pre-render true. What happens when you do this is that during your build process, it would pre-render these routes, and then in your outputs you get HTML files for these routes. Of course, this makes your website load faster. Depending on your server configuration, it also responds faster as well. The other thing I did as well was to add page metadata to each of the pages. So for example, the blog landing page can see all of this metadata here that also helps with link previews and also contributes overall to the metadata of your site. One other thing of note was where to store this blog content. I already have some experience using Firebase, so I chose to go with that. Wherever the case is, you need to store your blog content in a database and then fetch it. With Nuxt, once someone requests maybe the blog page, for example, everything is fetched and rendered on the server and then sent back to the client. And some of this code is here. This is run both on the server and on the client. Another thing I took advantage of with Nuxt was using computed properties for things like the headers and the title of the page. So in the code, you would see I have a computed title, computed descriptions, and image URL, page URL, author of the articles, and things like that, because I am using server-side rendering. This was a very key part to the SEO strategy, because you can have the title of your page computed and then also match that with the content of the page. Speaking of the content of the page, I also learned about using the appropriate headings to structure your content. You should have just one heading 1 on the page, and then subsequently you have heading 2s, and for subheadings under that you use heading 3s. A lot of the time 3 level of headings are good, so that was mainly a key thing to structuring the content. Also, with image tags, I started to add alt attributes so that it can also tell the search engine a bit more about the image. This also adds to the overall SEO of the site. I also use Firebase to track the analytics of the website to see how people were using the site, what they were interacting with. Once we implemented many of these changes, we started seeing organic search traffic increasing. We have gone from having a handful of views from search results to now having hundreds of views. So that's definitely a vast improvement. In summary, depending on what you're building, you need to use the right tool for the job. Also, structure your content, use the appropriate headings, let your images have all tags, write relevant content. For your blog content, use the right keywords, and this is where those computed properties would come in. So overall, SEO is an ongoing strategy, not something you just do once and then leave it. You keep on checking to see how the changes you're making are affecting the website. Yeah, that's basically it. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. Until next time, may the code be with you. Take care and peace.